very sorry for that short break in transmission. As we all know, it's because of the power failure. Just like I was saying, in the next few weeks, on the next couple of days, the Senate and the House of Representatives will be buying SUV for the use of the members, 107 the Senate and 360 the House of Reps. And in view of these, I have with me by Zoom the president of the International Center for Tax Research and Development and former chairman of Ogun State Internal Revenue Service, Morenike Babintin Ashai, online to look at the implication of this proposal as regards the present cost of doing business in Nigeria and the high cost of living. Good morning, ma.
Good morning, Abiola.
You're welcome, ma. Ma, we are going to discuss the issue of the 40 billion money set aside for the National Assembly to buy SUV. But before we go into that, there's this issue of the Finance Act 2023. Let's look at it. There appears to be a confusion regarding the implementation date of the Finance Act 2023. There are different implications, implementation date as regards it, and for the benefit of our viewers, can you briefly enlighten the public on the government on this? When are we expecting the full implementation of Finance Act 2023?
Thank you, Abiola. The Finance Act or Finance Bill is used as a support for the financial activities of the year, the following year. That means that if we have a Finance Bill or Finance Act for 2022, it will be used to implement our financial activities for the year 2023.
Yeah.
The fact that President Buhari gave the assent late does not mean that we should turn Finance Act 2022 to Finance Act 2023. Because the problem we have is that the legislators, the National Assembly, has not set up a rule as to when to present Finance Bill and when to present the budget. In the UK, they first of all have budget debate. When they have the budget debate, there will be resolutions, which means that the Parliament has agreed on certain things for the government to carry on the business of the nation. And it is on these resolutions that the Parliament has agreed upon that the government will now prepare a finance bill. The finance bill now will be debated all over, and if there are amendments, it will be done. And in view of that, the budget, the budget can easily be passed by the Parliament. Unfortunately, here we will take the finance bill and the budget to the National Assembly at the same time. That is not supposed to be the case. Even during the period of Dr. Onala Koshuleye, we first of all prepare finance bill. That is even during military. We first of all prepare the finance bill. And when we prepare the finance bill, everybody will debate it, and the budget will now come. So it's important for the National Assembly, the committee in charge of taxation and the budget of finance, to give a guideline as when they want the government to bring the finance bill. The finance bill is important because it is when the finance bill is approved that the budget can succeed in the House. So the finance bill is usually, or the Finance Act is usually to support the budget, the financial income and the expenditure of the government for the following year.
Yes.
What
about the executive order signed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
Well, the executive order, as far as Section 315 subsection 2 of the 1999 Constitution as amended is concerned, that executive order has no effect at all, because you cannot use executive order. You cannot use executive order to replace a legislative matter. Taxation is a legislative matter.
Yes.
What the Finance Act 2022, which was passed by General Buhari in 2023, should remain as Finance Act 2022 and should be used for the period of 2023 and beyond. Yeah. The Finance Act 2023 is what the Tinubu administration should take to the National Assembly now, because that Finance Bill 2023 will be the one to support their 2024 budget. So we should not mix it at all. They are two different things. And there's no way that the executive, the president, can use executive order to distort what the legislators have already approved and the former president has already signed. This is not something, it's a legislative matter. It's not question of, you see, the problem we are having in Nigeria is that we just hear that, oh, something is being done in US, and then we pick it up. Even in United States of America, you cannot use executive order to replace a legislative matter that was resolved a long time ago. So even when a president wants to use executive order, that president will refer to the Constitution and the law that has been passed. So the executive order that has been signed now by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu cannot take effect at all. It cannot. The Finance Act 2022, even though it was signed late, should remain. Okay. President Tinubu should prepare his administration's Finance Act 2023, which will be to support their 2024 budget. And this is the time that they should have placed it before the National Assembly. This is the time we should be discussing about it, so that by the time they present their budget, you know, the Finance Act would have been used to prepare the budget. That is the essence. Because if you have to increase taxation, the legislators must know if you have to remove any, if you have to amend anything about taxation, the legislators must approve. It's important because that is the background of the budget. So if you are telling legislators that you are no longer to get revenue from somewhere, you must get the approval. Because at the end of the day, you are going to report back to the legislators why you have not collected enough revenue. Or why
thank you very much for that
it's because we are not doing what is right.
Yeah, thank you very much. Now let's go to today's discussion on the palliative that they want to give to the National Assembly. The government has decided to 40 billion as palliative to the legislatures. We have about 109 senators and 360 legislators. 40 billion has also been a mark to buy SUVs. Mark, in your own view, what is your take on this decision taken so far?
I think that decision is very wrong. First of all, we should ask ourselves, the money, the loan that we got from World Bank, was it a gift? I mean, we got a loan. Was it given to us free? If it is a loan, we are supposed to pay back. And government should not pretend as if money will fall from heaven by the time we are going to pay this loan back. Before Buhari left, we understand that we had about 77 trillion loan altogether, and that we are using 97% of our revenue to service the loan. We have not even paid principal. We are just serving. We are just servicing. So how are we now going to start distributing as if the money will not be paid back? I think it's a wrong decision. Government shouldn't go that way at all. We cannot distribute loan as a gift. How do we pay back the loan?
But when we are talking about palliative, are we saying that the National Assembly, the who are earning, well, according to information, 8.5 million naira a month, you didn't also require to get palliative or not?
Well, Well, at the time that loan was given, and at the time that General Buhari at least gave information out, it was meant for vulnerable Nigerians, those who are very poor. So are we now saying that our legislators who earn 8.5 million a month, each of them has 8.5 million a month according to information, are we now saying that they are vulnerable? How can we, I mean, I cannot just imagine how, you know, we reason and act in that form. And for me, there are so many things we can do with that money. I don't think any legislator should be giving money. I've even read that they want to give the justice, the chief justice or judges, they want to give them maybe 36 billion as well. This is no, we are not Father. It is not Father Christmas. It's not good. We are going to pay this money back, so we should make sure we put it in investments that can generate the money back. And when we are going to pay the loan, then we will have money to pay, because the World Bank will not give us anything free. Even if they say we are not paying interest, we are going to pay charges.
Yes, we are going to service it. Yes. Now, if this money, 110 billion naira, is invested in the economy, what effect will it have? And which sector do you think it is better for us to invest this money?
Well, in my WhatsApp group, I belong to the Great Achiever magazine WhatsApp group. And we have 2 people in that group that have given suggestions. I read their suggestion and I agree that if we put this money into the economy, we will get the money back, we will be able to pay the loan, and we will create employment, and we will even be able to satisfy the need for the palliative. Let me just quickly, Dr. Adeoye, Gbenga Adeoye, and Mr. Bosun Ola Onabanjo, they gave solutions to our problems. And the solutions, I can quickly brief you, I can quickly read it out. You see, Dr. Gbenga Adeoye said that with that money, we can buy 22,000 buses at the rate of 30 million. And that will be 666 billion. We can allow the private sector to manage, you know, I'm adding my own too. We can allow the private sector to manage these buses with the intention of them paying back. We can give it to them with little or no interest, maybe at 2% or 5%, and you know, the money will come back, and then we'll be able to pay the loan. Now, you know, we earmarked 576 billion, and the cost is 666. So we only need to add 90 billion to it. So instead of giving the legislature 70 billion and giving and buying vehicles for 40 billion, that will cover the cost of 22,000 buses at 30 million naira per bus.
Yes.
The second suggestion, of course, Mr. Bosun Onabanjo also agreed that if we buy buses, we are going to provide jobs for engineers, for mechanics, for spare parts dealers, for food sellers, and we can give some motors. This is Mr. Onabanjo's suggestion. Some motors can be given this contract to produce the vehicle. So you can imagine the multiplier effect if we put the money into the economy. Alternatively, Dr. Gbenga also suggested that we can give 1 million naira to 600,000 SMEs to engage in small, medium enterprises, and they will pay back this money, and we will have money to pay back the World Bank.
Okay. Thank you for your time, Mom. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you very much, Abiola. Thank you.
We still have another issue that we're going to discuss. We have, of recent, the federal government announces a state of emergency on food security. And I have with me